Kia ora koutou, haere mai ngā puna wai oto tahi. Hello everyone and welcome to Ngā Puna Wai Sport Complex here in beautiful Christchurch. Sun was out earlier, now it's a little bit overcast. My name is Kelsey Bielik.
And I'm Toby Sutherland.
We've got a rumble from the North Island down here today. Misfits hailing from Auckland versus Nexus hailing from the capital of Wellington herself. What are you looking forward to in today's match, Toby?
I'm looking forward to Misfits mostly, just because of the young talent coming out that I haven't seen on display personally, and I'm excited to see it. Like an extraordinary number of U20 players on the team, with a few old hands that I'm excited to see how it all fits together.
Yeah, really well put. In Misfits, a relatively young team, not just in age, but also as a club, really coming out and as a bit of a wild card this season, asserting their dominance and the ultimate Frisbee scene nationally. Coming in and placing high, coming out of nowhere seemingly, with all these strong upcoming players, showing kind of the value of development, the value of teamwork. Coach Ian Stewart working as the U20s coach, but also coaching this team as well, and seeing how that's all coming along against Nexus, national champions, veteran team with some great upcoming talent as well, some U20 players on that team.
No, you're right though. It really is a veteran team, a lot of experience. Like, what's your initial prediction coming into this then? Are you thinking Nexus walks away with this with the experience, or are you going for young blood?
Oh, you're putting me in a tough situation. Nexus has been performing really well, and that's one thing about the team. They, their mental resilience. Under pressure, even under the pressure they're putting on themselves, they know how to perform. They know Tara Connor chasing the disc down.
Just overshot there. That's unfortunate. It's a great look, like a lot of space behind there. There would have been a runaway for sure, but unfortunately wasn't quite able to reel that in.
And Tara O'Connor, such an athletic player. If anyone was going to chase that down, it was going to be her. As I was saying, though, such a mental, resilient team with a lot of depth and experience, too. I'm really excited to see Misfits kind of as the wild card. And we'll see what they come out with. I'm excited to see that, but I'm not sure. I can't say at this point who's going to come out on top. What a hand block!
Oh. Doesn't quite convert though. That's super well backed up by the Misfits player to recollect that, but I mean...
Rollman just hungry to get that block.
Yeah. And then we see one of the old hands at the back there, Soper, passing across to, Zaria. Ireland.
Ireland with the disc right now. Moving to Swinson. A lot of great handler movement, nice swinging, strong defense really, I think, forcing that swinging. Nexus really trying to shut down a lot of the options, really making those downfield options less appealing. Great strike caught from Soper, looking deep, firing, and chased down. What a catch from Claridge. Soper to Claridge.
That's well worth the celebration as well. She had to plant, curve back around to collect that, left the defender in the wake, and still scored.
And you can tell she enjoys reading books in her free time. She goes to the library. Claridge is literate as a player. Oh, and what a block we're seeing there from Rollman once again. Kind of ping-ponging off the hands of Rollman into the hands. Great cleanup.
Yeah, what a great mark.
Strike cut from Soper one more time. The wind's caught it a little bit, but what a read.
What a read, really. To loop back for that so gracefully. It's really well done. I bet Soper breathed a sigh of relief on that one.
Yeah, you can see her hands up. Now, Soper, such an experienced player, such a talented player. She's a mentor in the Wellington region, of course, and also such a strong skill set. She has an arsenal of throws in her back pocket, as well as some great athleticism, but also providing a bit of mentorship on this team, no doubt. She has a bit of a legacy with Nexus, has played with them quite a bit, and no doubt knows a lot of these players really well. And also offering her skills now with Misfits. So I'm sure she's stoked to be playing with really a group of friends on both sides on the field right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's highly likely to be a spirited game, isn't it? It's just one of those things with how clubs form and, as you say, the veterans and friends on both sides. We just see the casual resets here coming out from Nexus as they settle into the game. Obviously, that previous offense didn't really go their way, and so they're looking to tighten that up. No more just small mistakes. It's possibly a contested stall call here.
Judd streaking deep. She was looking for a connection. When the disc is in the hands of Mara Neal, really a safe handler, also with a range of throws. She's got an arsenal in the back pocket, so Judd no doubt looking for a potential bomb coming her way. But they've stopped, of course, to discuss what's happening on the field. And disc is in.
Yeah, it's unusual that you'll see a stall that isn't contested. And so it does seem that this one was let go, so it was retracted and let to stay with Mo.
And Ireland close on Neal's hip there. Number 99, that is Zaria Ireland, really contesting. Mara Neal's looking for the disc. You can see she's such safe hands. She's such an experienced player that she's looking for kind of the give and go pass. Nexus knows that when the disc is in Neal's hands, it's in a good place. But Ireland also very aware of that. Looks like she's floating around the field a little bit.
Nice gain downfield. Now looking for any punches through, but nothing coming. So just having a reset back. Nice by Pickering, really safe.
Good movement right now from Nexus, and this is something that we've seen consistent from them throughout the tournament. This is classic Nexus Ultimate. Not afraid to take the safe options, not afraid to take the easy options. These throwers are all experienced. It's an experienced team. There's a lot of trust between the players, and with the zones we've seen throw their way time and time again.
Just a little miscom there, I think. Parsons with actually a relatively nice put, but I think there was a misunderstanding between the Neals on who was taking it.
Again, that's Becca Neal who had the bid there. Mara Neal, her sister, number 13, currently on the mark.
To add a little extra confusion, Lucy Parsons is in fact wearing a Neal jumper as well, but we'll keep you straight with the numbers.
What a hammer from Soper! She saw the options, things taken away, so she went for the upside, going over the top.
Oh, run through deep by Mara Neal.
Interception from Mara Neal. Looks like she's turning up the heat a little bit in this game.
Nice little give-go by Pickering as she heads off downfield, and so it's going to reset to Becca Neal.
What a connection. You know when you're throwing to Mildenhall, though, such safe hands, reeling it in.
Well, it's a static downfield, which tells you one thing. You should be swinging it. If the cutters aren't cutting, it's because they don't want that.
And Pickering completely open as a reset, throwing to Judd, who looks for the inside. Oh, no.
Just a slight miss there as they had to turn to catch it. A little unfortunate.
Yeah, Mather, a great option, an enticing receiver in the end zone there, but yeah, a bit of a misfire with that inside leads to the turnover. Misfits with a second option on offense, Soper with the disc. We can see her kind of directing the downfield where she wants it. We're seeing what looks like a horizontal stack. There's two handlers back. Ireland goes upline for the massive strike cut, and she launches it!
Huge forehand coming out.
Clark streaking deep, and Mildenhall can't get in position, closing the distance, but Clark just has too much separation. What a throw. What a catch. And love that celebration. The team runs on.
Yeah, that's a huge celebration. You love to see that fired up. That's going to help them well coming into the next D point, because if they can just generate some breaks here, it's going to be a healthy lead.
You know, Tobias, you've said anytime you're playing against a strong team, these are both strong teams. But Misfits looking at Nexus there with its first 2 points on the scoreboard, knowing that they can't let them get too much of a lead. If they do get too much of a lead, even if Misfits pull in and start, really pulling their weight in the game, that could be the difference between winning and losing a game. It's just those first few points.
Absolutely.
So really great to see Misfits coming out firing. They're on the scoreboard, and no doubt hoping this momentum will carry them into the next few points as well.
No, absolutely correct. Like, that's just how it goes. If you get a few points on the board, and even if they come back to trading, it's just not easy to claw them back. It's just not, especially against strong teams. We see Ireland getting ready for the pull now.
This will be Misfits on defense, pulling down Nexus on offense.
Nice shape to it, good distance.
So the rain has died down a little bit. However, the grass still damp. The disc, no doubt, still damp and a bit slippery. We see Misfits throwing a zone for the first time, and I'm wondering if this is the happy place for Nexus. What a read, what a catch from O'Connor. Launching it deep.
Oh, just not quite
A bit
collected.
too much spice on that throw. Maybe should have toned it Ayo instead of the Ghost Peppers.
Yeah, Yoon was there and ready, but just couldn't quite collect it.
What a catch from O'Connor, though.
Yeah, really. There was a lot of pressure on that one. When it sits that long, you know defenders are collecting with you.
Soper running to pick up the disc to start the offensive play here.
All right, just collecting the disc. Takes a while to get back in. So players are setting up on the field, and it's a loose defense.
It is a loose defense.
You can see Mara Neal is taking a lot of liberties with her mark, and it gets punished with a hammer to the break side immediately.
And Neal, she's really good at reading space. She, I don't know if she went to Hogwarts and studied divination. She's really good at predicting where the disc will be, which pays off in defense and poaching into that space.
Yeah, it does look like a sort of form of junk, doesn't it? Where there's a few.
Does.
Oh, nice put.
Deep look, and caught again. What a point! Misfits is vibing off this energy. I love the hugs.
Yeah, Clara just a weapon in the deep, it seems.
Indeed. So right now, interestingly, Misfits really scoring. That's the second point for them off of a huck, though. Really working off these deep options.
Yeah.
Which is exciting to see.
And it shows the strength of Island as a thrower there, because there was no power position in that. That was like a simple dump straight back, and she was even back-footed.
I love that gentle placing the disc down.
It's a quiet spike. I love that. Oh, that's very cool to see. It means that you really have to adjust the... oh, it does look like possibly a timeout called. I understand that. That is quite common to see a timeout after a spree of points at the start of a game, because you really need to lock in, dial your team in, and make sure that you are in this game. You can't let the points continue like that.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
I think it's just fit for Misfits team.
So Nexus cheering there, indicating, bringing the energy back to the field. We see Coach Nick Panu walking over to kind of piece through the last few bits of what he wants to see, what his guidance is for that next offensive point. Misfits similarly breaking with their cheer.
Yeah, the rain's kind of coming in again as well, so we're going to have to see if these long options keep coming off. Like, a slippery disc is really the true enemy of the forehand huck. We've all seen a few of those drift out, and so it'll be interesting to see if Zarya Island can keep putting them up. So far it's been a showcase of excellent forehand hucks.
Forehand hucks is it. Another quick point, it's been a bit windy yesterday, the first day of the Div 1 Championships, as well as this morning, a bit gusty, and that's part of the reason we've been seeing a few zone looks. Now, again, there's a light breeze right now, but another reason to throw zone could be the rain. When the disc is slippery, it's more difficult to release, especially as Toby just said with forehand looks. A bit more difficult to catch, more likely to slide and drop in your hands. So it could be another reason to throw a zone as well. And we have seen two of those looks out here today. We'll see if we see more. A lot of movement downfield from Nexus, but a bit of stagnance in the handler space.
Yeah, it's a nice decision by Lynch there, just to get right up in there to get a reset off, because Parsons was a bit stranded with the disc.
Lynch with an inside-out pass to Rollman, throwing to the open side to Bogatsky, launching it deep, no issue with the open side, and it looks like it's a shared catch. Shared catch goes to the offense.
Oh, good sprint, good sprint.
And that is Ollie Judd, known affectionately as Smalley, because she is anything but small. As we can see there, whether it's the reading of the disc, the positioning of her body, or climbing up the ladder, she manages to get there. And again, when you catch the disc at the same time, offense and defense, she's signaling it's a point, goes to the offense. And good look from Bogatsky, a veteran player, so much experience as well. No doubt guiding also the younger players on Nexus, the U20 players, U24 players that Nexus is also bringing up and coaching. But a beautiful connection between Bogatsky and Judd for the point.
Yeah, well said. So here we see Nexus playing defense. They've got to figure out how they can generate a break themselves now. We haven't seen too much of the Nexus defense in terms of being able to pull and set up something. So we'll see what they come down with. Neil with the pull, obviously a very strong thrower. A lot of cheers from the sideline. The energy's high. It's nice.
Neil with the hands up. You can see she's wearing gloves, and as I mentioned, Neil's got a range of throws in her back pocket, but gloves definitely helpful when the disc is wet. If you're trying to throw things like forehand hucks, ensuring that it won't slip out of your hands. Disc coming under. Neil hungry for that D. She's on the mark.
Great
But
patience.
Swinson is there to catch it. Disc back in the hands of Ireland.
Yeah, no, Swinson just did such a fantastic job there to get it in hand. There was a lot of pressure coming through from Neil. And then Swinson, even with a really close mark on it, just keeps really calm, reset nicely. So now it's up to Ireland to find the solution of getting off the side.
We're seeing a lot of switching on defense for Nexus. Interesting to see that flexibility, good communication, launches it downfield. Back and Neil hits it down to the ground, picks up on offense, swinging to Lynch.
Yeah, centered immediately, and it's break side flow. Mildenhall now with the option, might hit center again and create the float.
She wants it deep, it comes out as a blade.
Oh!
What? You know, that is signature Zarya Ireland right there. Let's see that one more time. Launching that blade, Ireland comes out of nowhere, and she just pops right back up.
Swipes it out of the air.
And you know, we've been waiting this tournament to see plays like that. Ireland, it's signature.
Oh, beautiful.
She's by no means small, but when you take into account her ability, what defense? This pressure and intensity for both teams right now, they've just stepped it up.
Absolutely. Mather coming through with that one. A beautiful run through D.
I love that inside-out pass there, though, just adding to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really nice ultimate so far, and it's awesome to see the turns coming from really fierce defense as well. Like the swings so far have been beautifully weighted to let the cutters coming back just collect them in their own time.
Ireland is too fast to have to lay out for that. What a deep look, but it goes a bit too far.
There might have been water on the disc, that one. It just slipped out a little.
You reckon? She's too fast. What's the point of laying out if you can run and get there? Anyway, great defensive play, though. That'll definitely be making the highlight reel, and something that I'm excited to see more of over the course of the tournament against Signature Ireland.
I mean,
It's our
hopefully
calling card.
we see some more of this game right now. We see a vertical stack, quite segmented, leaving a lot of room for handler play. Big shot comes up from Neil. A lot of players down there. Well read by Mather.
Beautiful inside out before. We know she's a great receiver, great throws as well. And reeling in the point with Bowen. Zara Bowen catching it in the end zone.
Bowen with the almost very energetic and then very gentle celebration as well.
And a lot of these players on Nexus, let's take one more look. Clean, a lot of space in the end zone. Yeah, a lot of these players from Nexus, you know, have that range of skills. They've got that depth, and there's a lot of like flexibility. A lot of them are almost multi-tools as players.
Yeah.
So we'll see. There's definitely defined handlers on the team. There's defined cutter essentially to do both, and to do both really well is what I think adds a lot of depth to this team.
Yeah, following up on your passes to them, like go from a handler making a pass and then becoming a downfielder kind of thing. The versatility really helps the team. You can tell when teams aren't comfortable with everyone having the disc or everyone receiving the disc, and you end up with that segmented downfield. And it's looking like beautiful flow so far.
Okay, Toby. Okay, guys, on the live stream with me, I'm going to go out here. I'm going to make a prediction. We just saw a massive layout D that's no doubt carrying the energy for Misfits. I'm going to make a prediction. Ollie Judd with the disc right now, known for her insane hand blocks. And I'm going to predict that there might be one of those. I wouldn't be talking if I haven't experienced it myself and been denied so aggressively. I'm going to predict that in the game as well.
I'm excited to see it. I hope it comes true. Hand blocks are always an absolute hype moment.
Misfits with their beautiful swinging passes right off the bat. I really like the way they're using the whole width of the field.
Yeah.
And right now with the quick, the stall count is quite low. By the time they're throwing the disc, they're using everyone on the team.
Yeah,
Ireland offering a safe reset.
the give go by Zarya Island is also just like creating so many opportunities for them here. Just using the angles beautifully.
Beautiful break to Clark. Clark looking for options. She's got time, no mark on her. Looking for the inside to Murgatroyd and back to Soper.
Yeah, Soper now is going to look for something to kind of open this up. They've just been patient.
And
Nice.
what great movements. They're throwing as if they were a experienced team with, you know, potentially decades of ultimate experience under their belts. Maybe some of them do have decades of experience at this point, starting as youths. But just chilly, clean ultimate, finding the swings, finding the easy options. Soper launching it across the field to Ireland.
It's a beautiful look. The vision and the shape to make that come off is just so nice. Oh, this is, as you say, a masterclass of throwing. And coming from such a young team, it truly is impressive. The touch, as they say, the graceful shape that certain throws have is, yeah, just on display from Misfits.
I wanted to comment just briefly on that last point. Oh, look at that break throw, though. Such a low release.
Yeah.
Soper's vision to throw that across the field with that slight blade on it dropping right where Ireland is. I really like right here, Ireland's throw. It's an outside in forehand. Normally you'd
Yeah.
expect an inside out or a high release backhand, but the touch on that, making it an inside out forehand, a bit uncharacteristic, but does what it needs to do. Beautiful shot to score the point.
Yeah. It's a perfect use of like an unusual option to fit the scenario.
As we're saying, though, Misfits right now displaying confidence, calmness, experience with the disc, comfort really across the team, as we were just talking about Nexus, that Nexus also has. Yeah, so these players, again, have represented Aotearoa. Many of these players have represented Aotearoa, New Zealand, on the world stage. And here really showing kind of that depth and the poise with the disc, clean throws and catches, really, you know, using the length, the width of the field, finding the open options, and making a potentially slightly boring.
Just is too clean, too nice?
Yeah, clean ultimate. No, maybe that's a bit too strong of a word, though, boring, because I love to see it.
Well, they're making it exciting on defense, you know. That's where it's really coming in. I mean, it is true that good ultimate is boring ultimate. It just looks so clean and easy when it's all coming off nicely.
At the end of the day, if you're throwing too far, if your player needs to lay out to catch it, it's not the best throw. It could have been better. So yes, clean ultimate is boring ultimate, and that's the kind that we do love to see. Mildenhall with the disc. Back to Neil.
Yeah, it's a good attacking opportunity here for Nexus. A lot of space on the field. A lot of like strong players on the field. They're just like waiting to make it happen now. Pickering collecting in the center.
Jung looking for the under option there.
Oh, an
A
overshot.
high release to Neil, takes to the skies to tear it down. And Lynch with a loose mark from Ireland.
Oh, sneaky throw through.
She makes that backhand break look easy.
So easy, in fact, effortless. It's a little bit of a bait, that one, isn't it? Where the stall count's getting up, you're not really pivoting, just kind of standing there, and your mark probably thinks, well, she's about to swing it, isn't she? And then a little pop down and.
Oh, the push pass back as well. Neil push passes back to Lynch. And then Lynch, you know, she's really capitalizing on this loose mark that Ireland's put on her. Ireland
Absolutely.
taking away a lot of the open side. And if your mark is relatively flat, if they're taking away the open side, why not throw it break?
Such a good use of opportunity for sure.
You
If the
take
mark's
what's
not
given
taking
you.
it, yeah, absolutely take what's given. Lovely pop.
That puts one more point on the board for Nexus Affinity, bringing the score to 4-3 to the Misfits. We've got Nexus's defensive line out on the field. It looks like they might be marking up in match defense. Meanwhile, Misfits looking for an offensive opportunity.
Yeah, it's good to see picking matchups as well. It's always it's always an extra step that you can go to where you either line up and just say, yeah, you take whoever's across, or you say, right, I think you're a good match to take this person on. And it always creates exciting stories and moments on the field as well, where you find these exciting matchups between these players.
And Lynch with the pull, sending a laser downfield.
Just collected and centered. Nice calm, give them time to set up. It's great to be able to play. That's essentially a brick mark. It's a perfect place to play from. Beautiful little pops through.
Murgatroyd and Fulton. Fulton running the field right now. Back to Soper.
Swinson on the far sideline.
Oh, nice low release flick to Soper, launching it deep. She's throwing it high. Oh, what footwork!
Oh, that's a brilliant piece of footwork.
Is she a dancer? If she's not, she could kill a salsa.
Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it was in still, despite the best efforts.
Despite the best effort. So Soper there, seeing a lot of the congestion in players, unfortunately went out of bounds.
Everyone's streaking deep.
Firing deep. 2 options. Oh, but no match when there is Tessa Swinson in the space, you know, reading the disc, getting up in the air with a safe defensive play.
Yeah, really everyone was streaking deep on that one. That was the whole team. They all recognized that there was potential for this to go up.
And you know, when you have options deep, when there's 2 players, it feels pretty safe to just put it into space and see what happens. Of course, when you've got a strong defensive player like Swinson just climbing out of the air, makes it a bit more difficult. Deep options, disc goes up from Soper, down the sideline, fighting to get it. And there is a foul called.
Fiercely contested. The shot was nice, came down the sideline, but it did fall just slightly short, which makes both players kind of have to pull in and cause this little bit of contact. It's going to be a contested foul. Looks like it will be coming back. So,
Claridge and Mather, both previous teammates on the U20 women's team as well. So they're familiar, they've played with each other quite a bit, and meeting here as opponents on the field.
And what looked like a very sensible discussion. There was very calm, well resolved, quickly resolved. It's good to see.
Which is what you like to see, especially in one of a hotly contested game like this.
Absolutely.
With such a close score, to have those calm-headed discussions when there is a bit of contact happening.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to see that it's maintained even when it's like such high-pressure situations. Oh!
Whoa, there was
one attempt at snag there by Brown.
One thing I'm really enjoying right now is seeing how much Misfits are attacking the disc. All of the players, we're seeing clean butter throws coming out so smooth from all the players, and then attacking to get there, preventing any defensive option. That said, Nexus on offense right now. And what vision from Lynch.
Soper had a taste of it. You can see she's chuckling that she didn't quite get up there.
Mather, we saw the high five from Judge. She said, thank you. The stern face looks like in her mind, she's like, I'm just doing my job. My job is to score points.
Yeah, doing it well.
Doing it well. Great vision from Lynch to find that, and great from Mather as well to be in that space.
Here we see it again. Just finding the gap. Ooh, just snaking over.
And Soper, again, she's such an experienced player. While she's playing defense on one person, she's got that heads up. She's looking at where the disc is and makes a play. Of course, the strong put by Lynch hangs it in the air just high enough so that even with Soper's athleticism, her ability to get high into the air, she can't snag it down.
Yeah, it's definitely a time when you curse your reach a little bit and you're like, oh, just a little more would have been it. Well, that ties us up. It's exactly what we were hoping for, a nice, competitive, close game.
A competitive, close game, absolutely. Always exciting, giving both O and D lines plenty of options to show their stuff. Neil directing the team as she has her disc in hand, testing the wind and running up for the pull.
Big pull.
Great pull to former teammate Beck Soper, catching it down and initiating Misfits off to the races already. Huge layout. Pickering wanted that defensive play. She's channeling Ireland, who got the game going. Pickering, I hope we'll see more of that.
Little dishes. Oh, almost a fumble there from Ireland. It's awesome how Misfits are so comfortable with such small ball. A lot of teams won't play at that distance. They're just not interested. Too many opportunities for fumbles, but Misfits are just proving that they're reliable enough that they'll take it.
Fulton with the disc. Now Young is on as a mark. She was waiting for options.
Ireland looking for anything downfield. She'll take a little option.
Soper on leashes.
Oh, big intercept there.
Cleanly D'd by Samantha Rollman. We've got Parsons approaching the disc to pick up for Nexus on offense. Hannah Clark on the mark.
Yeah, it's not a nice corner to be in either. That's somewhere you have to play out of. The wind has just picked up a little bit. It's not strong, but it's a breeze. It's enough that if you're thrown with too much angle, it could get taken away.
A Nexus already in their sideline play. We can see players clearing off the sideline, making that undercut. Neal looking up line, striking up. Options are running thin. Mara Neal with the strike to collect the disc. In the power position, launching deep, looking for Rollman. Angel Rollman's safe hands. What a receiver she is.
Rollman just a meter short of bookends, but she'll be looking to reset so someone else can punch this one in now.
She's looking for swing options. Not a lot opening up. Super dump to Parsons. May have lost some yards, but they're resetting the stall. Looking to Mara Neal in the end zone. Mara Neal cleans it up with another point on the board to Nexus. Nexus with a few in a row now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a strong kind of comeback from that initial slow start. I mean, yeah, Parsons and Neal did a lot of work on that point. The Misfits defense was excellent. It took a long time for Nexus to get out of that corner, but looks like a little timeout being called here. I think we're seeing the opposite that we saw earlier, where Nexus needed a timeout after a run of points. We're seeing Misfits take a timeout after a run of points.
So Misfits coach Ian Stewart, other coach potentially Stephanie King-Griffin, discussing with the team, kind of thinking critically what on offense they can change right now. You know, we've seen some beautiful movement. Misfits have shown that they have everything they need to be playing at this level.
Absolutely.
And higher. You know, the throws and catches, the poise, the composure. You know, regardless of wind or rain, these slightly damp conditions, they're finding those open options and they're staying calm and collected. So Misfits know they have that, and they know that they can, if they continue with that, they can dig deep and it's all in their minds, you know, control the controllables.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think you're right. We've seen the display of skills. We've seen the athleticism. It really just comes down to executing now, keeping your mental in the right place. I mean, it is a thing that comes with experience as well. And I mean, as you say, the coaches for both teams are so experienced. I would love to know how many years experience the two coaches have versus the entire Misfits team. It might stack up. It might stack up closer than you'd think.
Meanwhile, Nexus on camera right now discussing defense. You know, they've done a great job converting, putting pressure on and just forcing those turnovers. Even if they're not involved, sometimes even just getting in the mind of your offensive player, putting that pressure on to make a defensive play, and then converting just what they need to do, doing what they need on offense. Another exciting part, we're seeing the stands fill up. I think there were two people hanging out, two fans in the audience in a first game, and we're definitely seeing the stands fill up more, especially for such an exciting match as this one right now.
Yeah, definitely. This is one to be watching. If teams are on buys or anything like that, they will come and watch this one, I'm sure.
Misfits with hands in the middle, ready for the cheer. Keeping it to themselves, breaking, ready to throw on an offensive line.
Absolutely. Nexus is ready and waiting. They're fired up to take a break here. We'll have to see what they come down with. It's been matched so far with a little bit of switching from the experienced players. We'll have to see if it gets mixed up at all.
Judd with the disc. Looks like she's cleaning it off a bit, indicating that it may have gotten damp from touching the ground.
Yeah,
So she's cleaning it off just to ensure she can get a better grip on it before she launches it downfield with the pull.
That's right. That's exactly what I was going to say. Is you got to make sure you have a nice dry spot that you're holding for that pull. No one wants to endanger the spectators.
Especially with the growing crowd over there.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're still hearing a lot of energy as well, partly from the crowd, partly from the sidelines. It's good. You need it on days like this, where the rain comes in and things start to cool down a little.
And Ireland catches, swings immediately to Soper. It looks like Nexus, I was going to say coming down in his own, but handler marks, setting up quickly. Lynch on the mark, Soper swinging downfield regardless.
Brown here with the disc, looking for a reset.
Brown looking for options, back to Soper. Murgatroyd. High release backhand, interesting throw there. Does what it needs to do though.
Absolutely. Oh, Island streaking down the line.
What?
Hands wide.
Back Soper! That inside out backhand huck was gorgeous. It was controlled. We see the team partying. Look at those two fingers up there. She's stoked about that. And Ireland potentially, not stoked. She just took her time. There was nothing flashy she needed to do. Nothing especially exciting. She just saw it into her hands. I love that pop pass too from Murgatroyd.
So cool. And Soper is a master of space. This is a perfect find as well.
Inside out backhand.
Yeah. She just notices the separation and says, well, I can use that. Throws a beautiful shape and just drops it right in the receiver's hands. You can even see that Zari Island knows. She's got her arms wide, greeting it.
Oh, what a treat to watch that. Misfits with another point on the board, bringing the score to 5-all.
Yeah, they're keeping it tight. No one's getting outpaced here. Whenever a team goes on a run, the other just comes right back and says, no, we're still here. So it's going to be another offensive point for Nexus. And Misfits have an opportunity for a break.
We've got number 12, Anna Crosby, with the disc on Misfits. A lot of these players, of course, in the mixed season, a lot of these players have played together as well on teams across the North Island, Marvelous DC. Crosby's played with Soper. There's a lot of knowledge and familiarity, even though players may be crossing teams or playing against each other. A lot of them have trained together, whether it's on a national team representing the country, on a club team, previous women's club team, or within the Auckland or Wellington regions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Almost on neutral turf here down in Otutahi, Christchurch.
Yeah, you know that there will be some secret kind of knowledge going on of like, they love this, they prefer that. Just kind of influencing the team strats a little bit. Oh, here we see a different look from Misfits. This is March Zonia.
Yes.
Oh, that's a beautiful find over the top. Mildenhall wide open in the space. She knew she was there and waiting for it.
And Rebecca Lynch providing an easy pop pass. Mildenhall throwing fakes, just waiting to move Soper as her mark. Finding Anna Crosby, who swings to Neil. Lynch cleans that up with pressure from Fulton on defense, trying to get that D.
Nice finds in the space. They're doing such a good job finding the angles that they need.
And that's one thing, throwing a zone, if it's not particularly intense conditions.
Oh my God, that is an amazing catch.
Young is just as stoked to have cleaned that up.
That is a Spider-Man moment if I've ever seen one. We need a replay of that. What an astounding grab.
Hammer fake over the top, and Lynch is looking for it, sees Young deep, who takes to the ground. Lay her body out to catch it cleanly in the end zone. What a catch.
That is a high-pace grab as well. There's not much room for error in that one. Beautifully taken.
Yeah, as I was saying with the zone, though, the Nexus handlers have so much experience navigating so many different types of zone defenses. And it's important, I think, nonetheless, to switch up defensive options. It can really get in the minds, it can change kind of what you're doing on defense. It can get in the minds of the offense and just make it a little bit more challenging. It can slow things down. Nexus, nonetheless, with such experience and depth, making those small throws and waiting while trying to figure out how to unlock that cup, unlock the zone. They're they're a team that potentially relishes in those zone options.
Yeah,
What-
they definitely have the skills to throw over, and that's what we saw in that last point. It will be
Yeah.
interesting to see the preparation and depth of the strategy coming from Misfits. Do they have different zone looks that change that up a little? Occasionally you can pull back the wall or pull back the wing to just kind of pressure those over the tops, and then you really invite a few different options to take on. Here we see Soper on the sideline, preparing for an offensive point for Misfits. Oh, just a small overthrow from Murgatroyd there.
Oh, there's a strong mark from Murgatroyd. She's everywhere. She's looking for the block, but Bodis moving her around trying to find that option. Becca Neal fakes an inside-out forehand and finds it for the second time, looking at Pickering. Bodis with another inside-out to Mildenhall. They're really capitalizing on this break side of the field. If the marks are giving them those break options, they're going to take them. Another inside-out forehand to Mildenhall in the end zone, snatching it down. And she's applauding what she appreciated as a beautiful throw. Inside-out forehands.
Yeah, I mean, that's not just a beautiful throw, that's a beautiful point. That was a display of veterancy with just some excellent use of the break side and just constantly attacking.
And there's the replay. Pop pass back to the handler. Mildenhall running this. Pop pass, and then she looked deep for what she wanted. She got the separation, caught it in the end zone. Now with these replays, with this streaming, if you like what you see, we do appreciate your support. Welcome to head over to patreon.com/ULTI.TV to help continue live streaming of Ultimate events like this in the future. Big thank you to our tech colleagues at ULTI.TV, for making this happen.
Yeah, it's starting to eke out a small lead here as Nexus. We'll have to see if Misfits can bring it back. The kind of strategy discussions that happen around that break side are always interesting to be a part of, because it's always a question of how much you want to take, because you always give away something. And we see they're ready for the offense though. Hands up signaling. A few last minute changes happening from the Nexus defense as they run down.
Rain starting to come down a little bit heavier at the moment as well. Disc is rolling down the field. Can it be stopped? And that's the challenge with rolling discs. They can be hard to read. It's not quite a soccer ball.
Yeah, a little bit of moisture will have it slip right through.
Again, conditions a little bit rainier right now. We'll see how long that lasts. For the moment, doesn't seem to phase Misfits. Deep look from Anna Crosby, trying to find Claridge. A favorite deep receiver, but Neal takes to the skies. Difficult when you've got both Neal and Samantha Rollman in the air. Two notorious deep receivers coming in hot and trying to get the D. Also props, honestly, on the defense there for keeping it clean.
Absolutely. I mean, Claridge has been a weapon in the deep, but I mean, that throw hung a little too long with such strong defenders, as you say. It's going to be tough. So now it's up to Misfits to really pull it back on defense. They can't let another point go here. 3 points down at this stage is really tough to come back from.
Bodis looking for what turns into a massive strike cut. D'd by Zaria Ireland, who's picking it up now on offense. We're seeing movement downfield. A lot of separation there.
Oh, cheeky backhand. And just like that.
What?
Just like that, Misfits is in the goal. That's crazy.
It seems like a bit of a lapse on Nexus defense there. That first undercut that Ireland threw to, there was so much separation. Taking a bit longer to set up on the mark. You know, they're just moved it down the line. I mean, a bit caught off guard. I mean, Nexus just had took a breath, let the pressure off for a second.
Some great breakside steps.
Separation and then, yeah.
A miscommunication on marks there a little bit.
Maybe that was it. But it just goes to show also, with a bit of miscommunication, you know, head down, looking the wrong way, against a team like Misfits, they're going to capitalize on that. And they're going to punish that. If you don't have your head on a swivel and if you aren't ready, you're going to get scored on.
Yeah, in a surprisingly quick fashion.
Yes.
Just like that, snuck it in. Well, that's good. Brings us to 6-7. It's a tight game. That's what we like. We want exciting back and forth. Ireland ripping a big pull. And it will be fielded right in the middle.
Parsons and Judd with the disc. Misfits coming down in a person defense. We've seen a few zony looks, and I think they're recognizing that that is not quite where they want Nexus. Neal cutting in and out. Parsons with a beautiful around look. Mildenhall coming under, looking for those continuation options and opting for the safe dishy.
Yeah, a nice little pop to Parsons. Parsons has been really reliable today, taking her time with good options. Unfortunately, that drifts just over. And there was that effect of that small breeze, I imagine, that we've mentioned, but it hasn't come into play too much. Now Misfits have another opportunity for a break.
And the disc is up, looking for, what a catch from Tessa Swinson. She made that look easy, but with a damp disc, climbing to the skies with one hand, she brings it down.
Yeah, that's super unfortunate miscommunication there on the reset, because Swinson made that absolutely look casual on the grab. Parsons now with a free forehand down the field.
Bogatsky looking for the connection, throws a blade. O'Connor has to come back for it. I think if Bogatsky maybe, she saw that, she knew that timing was critical and she wanted to put it off immediately. Unfortunately, within that small margin she had, it looks like that, it came out a bit blady and a bit too short.
It's tough when you see Ireland as the defender as well. You know you don't have a big window. You have to get that downfield pretty quick or she'll cover that ground.
Oh, big fake opens up the throwing area.
Yeah, nice usage of just small ball in the middle of the field so far.
Murgatroyd throwing a handler-initiated dishy.
Oh, beautiful forehand down the line as well.
Roll with the disc, resetting to Ireland. To Murgatroyd. Again, they're really playing up the sideline. Murgatroyd unleashes.
Swinson again, safe in the downfield.
And looking,
Just
Sawyer really not willing to let that go. She wanted that, laid it all out, but just was a bit far for her. Beautiful bid there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Swinson's been making so many good cuts downfield and just hasn't quite been able to convert them. Nice defense by Murgatroyd covering that swing, although eventually Beckenhill does get free.
Ooh, hot pressure on defense.
A real opportunity here for Misfits.
Really putting the pressure on Pickering and just running through, making that defensive play. We've got O'Connor marking the disc, forcing Ireland to throw forehand. Nexus pinching around the disc. There's a little bit of poaching happening, marking that space. Ireland goes over the top, and Swinson can't pull it down.
Yeah, Swinson's been so reliable. I don't blame Ireland for looking for that.
Parsons looking immediately for that deep option.
Great chase there from Misfits on that deep cut.
Backed up a little bit, trying to give Ireland that space. We've got Mildenhall on the mark. Ireland looking for an around throw, finding it again. Swinson, what a game she's having.
Absolute workhorse for sure. Beautifully connected there downfield.
Sawyer with the disc.
And Sawyer knows what she was up to. She was looking for that reset immediately.
Strike cut to Ireland. Launches an upwind hammer. Bogatsky jumps in the way. She knows where the disc is coming down. She says not today.
Yeah, just enough pressure there. The catching a wet disc hammer is definitely a tall order. And so a little bit of pressure just makes it too much.
Impressive with the hammer throwing to the high side of the field, though. Often easier, of course, to throw hammers to the low side of the field, but it did come out cleanly. Maybe would have had a bit more length on it, a bit more power had it been low side. Judd looking under. Catching the disc, continuing to Bogatsky.
Nexus is setting themselves up a long way from the handlers, which does mean it's up to the handlers to get resets, but
Parsons juggling with the disc, launches a cross-field backhand, looking for O'Connor, but once again, Ireland in that deep space, cleaning it up.
It's exciting out there with the hot potato into long puts.
And you know, one thing I'm really appreciating, Murgatroyd with the disc, one thing I'm really appreciating with Misfits is they have star players on their team. All of their players are star players, but we've seen some incredible bids from Ireland. We've seen Soper with the throws as well, but we're seeing also how well this entire team works together.
Absolutely.
Everyone on the field with that composure. Murgatroyd launching the disc deep, finding an open clearage.
That's a beautiful find. We've seen We've seen Murgatroyd do a lot of reset work here, being kind of a pivot handler, but for the most part hasn't been shooting, and that was just a beautiful find in the back. Just floats one over perfectly into Claridge's hands.
Very timely to emphasize the point I wanted to make, and that's the entire team on Misfits really showing poise, depth, patience again. And what they're doing, despite the fact, it's always uplifting, despite the fact that you do have such strong players, such athletic players on your team, potentially standout all-stars, that the entire team is working together, and this is a team effort right now from all of Misfits, bringing the score to 7-all.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exciting stuff. It's interesting. It's interesting seeing how far Nexus is setting up their stack as well, because it is creating some huge gainers on the downfield passes.
Here's Bogatsky once again trying to unleash that disc. Knew she had time, was not on her side.
Oh, and this tragically just sneaking away there. Swinson with a...
Another great thing here, we're seeing so much defensive pressure from both teams. Really, putting pressure on everything that they're doing, making the cuts and the available options that much fewer. And difficult to throw to, really punishing, lack of focus, misfiring.
Yeah, there's a lot of defensive pressure for sure. The receivers are working. Defenders won't focus that hard on the very small kind of cuts because they don't think it'll go, and so they tend to, favor other things, whereas when you know that they will throw even tiny things, you're all of a sudden forced to commit even further under, and that opens other opportunities down the field. Nicely caught and towed in, just to be sure.
She looked like she was ready to lay out if she needed to, ready to drop down and keep that disc in. Fortunately, she had the space, the awareness, the agility to keep it in. We've got Misfits with a defensive line. Anna Crosby with disc in hand, ready for the pull. And Nexus Affinity on offense, ready to receive.
Now this is an important point, as this will be taking half. And that's often a big difference when you come into the second half getting to start up that 1 point.
We see quick cut to Crosby's face there, kind of grimacing as the wind slightly pushed it out of bounds. Neil picking up the disc and breaking it in the middle. Soper on the mark.
Quick dishes straight away, but it looks like a zone defense from Misfits. It'd be interesting to see if Neil can find those same over options that have kind of appeared out of nowhere before.
And this four-person cup can be punishing with the in cuts, with crashes. It can be so difficult. We see that other option, Hannah Clark, she's covering the swing there, making it really difficult to find the open options. Now the solution here that Lynch has, that Lynch can take care of, that so many of these Nexus players can when there's so much pressure around the cup, is to look over the top, look a bit farther. And here we seeing crack it open. Botus continuing with the look downfield. Rollman looking for the next player and resetting back to Neil.
Yeah, Rollman's not taking chances with it. It's beautiful to see. Just playing some safe ultimate.
Neil with the push pass for the points.
I've seen a lot of push passes scoring today. Seems to be the way, isn't it? Little sneaky ones through.
And great to see hugs. Congratulations between both teams. So awesome in such a tight game, but also just acknowledging the familiarity between so many of these players. What a half it has been, Toby.
Yeah, it's been such a half. I mean, it's so good to see it neck and neck as well. Like, you just don't know when a team comes out 3-0 at the start, if that's going to be a wash. And then, to come back to, a huge point run for Nexus, and Misfits then had to claw their way back. It's so cool to see it tight, and I hope it continues to be tight. We've seen so many tight games already on stream, and I would love to see yet another one that's neck and neck till the end.
Player Miriam Burke here on the field. Acknowledging, giving a weird affirmation to Crosby as she's walking off. Yeah, close game. Also, one thing I really wanted to comment on is Auckland sending, Blueberries, such a powerhouse and such a legacy coming off of a WCC campaign, Worlds campaign. Blueberries is another women's club from Auckland. Misfits now carving out their own legacy and showing, at the national level, how far they've come, showing what Auckland development is looking like in the women's ultimate space. It's just really cool to see.
Yeah, super exciting.
And Nexus giving them a run for their money. Anything else for the half before we close off for here?
No, I'm just excited to see the next one.
All right. Cool. Well, thank you, guys. We'll be back on shortly, giving a bit of a break. In the meantime, my name is Kelsey Bielik.
And I'm Toby Sutherland.
We'll be back on soon. Kia ora koutou, haere mai ngā puna wai oto tahi. Hello everyone and welcome to ngā puna wai Sport Complex here in beautiful Christchurch, Aotearoa, New Zealand. My name is Kelsey Bielik.
And I'm Toby Sutherland.
And we're your eyes and ears on the ground. And here the second half of this match between Nexus and Misfits. What a first match we've seen, Toby.
Yeah, the first half was incredible. And now we're kicking off another half with a big pull, coming down flat. I'm looking for Misfits to really come back firing here. They're 1 point down now. They've got a nice offensive point coming out from half. They've been showing some really good stuff so far. Shots like that, just beautiful finds through. Oh, just a bit tricky over the top. Can be hard to turn and catch those when you're in stride.
Ireland's getting creative with the throws. Yeah, so we have Misfits hailing from Auckland in white and yellow. Meanwhile, Nexus from Wellington, defending champions in dark blue, navy blue. So North Island Rumble here on the fields of South Island and Christchurch. And again, the game is neck and neck. So the most we've seen a point difference is about 2 points.
Yeah, it's not strayed too far apart. Anytime a team's got a lead, it's been clawed back rapidly. Oh, here's a bit of a runaway. Is Nexus going to be able to run this down?
And goes all the way to the end zone in Ireland with their signature cheeky outside-in forehand.
So casual. I mean, I'd love to know what happened there. Misfits just ran away with that one.
They did. I mean, we have seen that before, though. You know, when Nexus lightens the pressure, when they take their foot off the gas in the slightest on defense, Misfits quick to capitalize and just accelerate into that even more. So we're seeing, you know, Nexus rushing to catch up with those give and goes.
You know, it was a good effort to get back. It looks like what happened was, again, the Sopa Island connection, just creating some awkward spaces for the defense to cover. And
where's the defense here? So again, Nexus rushing to recover, but everyone a little bit out of position there.
Yeah, just break side usage, really well utilized.
Well utilized on the break side, well put. All right, so that very quick point to start that second half ties the game up 8-8.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we wanted, you know. We want to keep this neck and neck. It would be cool to see a universe.
It would be cool. Unfortunately, also tragic when you have two such strong teams, you know, to close it out when it comes to the 1 point difference. Misfits out here, as I've mentioned in the first half, really carving their way. This is such a breakout year for them, really showing the depth, the growth that they've gone through, and you know, as a club, as players in the past few years, racing down the field to chase down that pull. And Nexus, of course, with some massive legacy, national champions, time and time again, massive experience on the team, and as well as supporting growth with their wealth of young players on the team as well. So such an exciting matchup between both teams.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very cool to see Misfits competing at this level. We've seen Misfits before, but they didn't put up nearly such a good result, and this is such a good showing.
I'm loving this energy that Nexus is bringing right now with these swings, fighting to get open, fighting for the options. So this is, it's getting to be the afternoon of the second day of the Division 1 National Championships here 2023. So players, you know, might be feeling a little bit fatigued. It's the clean catches, the clean throws and passes that we've been seeing, but also the energy. I love that Nexus right now has picked up this energy a little bit.
Yeah, I think this suits them a little bit as well. Like, Misfits is putting on a really nice zone, but I think Nexus is comfortable taking their time, you know. They're strong throwers, very patient. They trust their team that eventually there will be a reset if they need it. So they can take their time to find the gaps.
Really, you know, breaking down that break side makes it difficult to figure out what the force is when these players are, you know, able to move it so comprehensively across the field.
It does look like Misfits are just forcing it towards the nearest sideline as well, and so that can create opportunities where the force might change and you don't know how exactly to mark downfield. They're not in yet, though. Nexus still has to put this one away, and we are reaching a lot of passes in 1 point.
I'm not entirely sure, Toby, if my choice would be, you know, to continue running a zone against Nexus. We know Misfits have athleticism. They have, you know, they're drilled, but they definitely have the legs.
Yeah.
Compared to, you know, Nexus training really hard, but, you know, Misfits is, they've matched up really well. And when we know that Nexus can really beat down a zone, they can break it down so well. I'm not sure if I would keep running that. At the same time, of course, it can be really beneficial just to switch things up just for 1 point.
I mean, we might not see it again. That could be the nail on the coffin for that zone. They did. I mean, they looked comfortable going through it. They did. The experience in the throws just kind of making their way down the field. So
I think a good learning point, actually, maybe for Nexus in the future when they're trying to teach up-and-coming players how to break a zone. That would be
a
the
recording
clip
you
I
could
would
use.
show them.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, that is essentially textbook, you know, swing your way around, make some gains, and eventually you'll be in the end zone. We see some discussion from the coach for Nexus as Nexus prepares for a defensive point. They're eyeing up a break here to extend their lead rather than just continue trading.
Misfits, meanwhile, setting up on offense to come out with no doubt the same clean throws, beautiful passes, and potentially long, deep looks. They've got a very dynamic game, and they can play a bit of everything.
Ireland fielding the pull now.
Working with Hannah Clark in the downfield. and swinging to Fulton as well. Really using a depth of talent here on the team.
Yeah, great movement by Clark, just getting over that fast island. Unfortunately, no obvious continuation, so she'll look to swing back.
Love
Well
that
chased.
energy chasing that down. What great closing speed from Swinson.
Yeah, we can see the Swinson's just an absolute
Wanted
receiver.
that, popped it up.
Oh!
So there was no call there. It looked like there was contact on the field and some bumping, but because there was no call, the game kept moving. Fortunately, while Ultimate is a non-contact sport, it looks like it didn't really impact much.
Yeah, it is one nice thing is that players are empowered to decide if it affected their play. And ultimately, they both decided that it didn't impact anything. They'd just play on. Swinson again, popping to Island. They're just making their way down here. They've taken their time. And then a hammer goes up.
Hammer!
Double covered. And yeah, unfortunately, couldn't find the free player on that one.
Bridget Forsyth knocking that down. It's not happening while she's on patrol in that deep space.
No. We see Lynch picking up again now to start the potential break offense coming from... ooh, might have been a little miscommunication there. Looked like Picker was head down, gonna need it deep.
It was great release. It was a really nice option. I love those pop passes. But yeah, a bit of miscommunication. Giving Misfits another chance, and she is moving the mark. Oh! Oh, and it looks like Rollman is calling the jump in that maybe Ireland caught the disc and then jumped in. It looks like that may have been the case.
It's very hard to tell exactly when you get control, but I wouldn't be surprised if...
a game of in and out for the fans on the live stream. What do you guys think? Was Zarya Ireland inbounds? Was it a point, or was she out? The players have decided she was out of bounds, so she's taking it on the end zone line, and there's a lot happening. Lynch just getting in the way. Oh, it looks like there's a contact call.
Oh, I love a good foul call from the ground.
Catherine Fulton. Yep, indicating with hand signals. Let's watch that one more time.
Yeah, it's important to clarify at this moment that one of the key pieces of Frisbee is that you can't make contact before, during, or even after a play. And so if Fulton is arguing that there was contact even after the play, it is a valid call.
Another point for the players to consider, contact after the play. One thing, definitely valid, Catherine Fulton to consider, would she have caught it? Did she have a chance of catching it?
Yep.
You know, it's obviously, if there's contact, it's a valid call at any point. Sometimes if the disc was incredibly far on the opposite side of the field, you know, would you have been able to catch it in the first place?
For sure.
Looks like the players have decided she's taking it out. Looking again, Misfits in the same place.
Nice sensible decision just to reset that. It was getting pretty clustered in that corner. You don't want to force it at this point and then regret kind of letting go of your opportunity.
Ireland running it. Feisty defense. Rollman coming over that defensive look and streaking deep. She wants that deep option. Neil collectedly, calmly walking to the disc and letting everyone chill, simmer down a little bit after that excitement.
Yeah, such a good run through D. Perfectly reading what was happening there. Like, definitely they wanted to run it through Ireland. Oh, just snaked by Lynch. Fires it deep.
And Young in place. She's reading it. She's under it. Sees it into her hands. What separation. All I saw was blue.
Small lead extending now off a hard-fought point. Misfits are going to be a little bit gutted with how that worked out, given they had some opportunities right at the end zone there.
Definitely. I also want to give a nod to that play right there. You know, there was clearage. She was in position, and she had to play on the disc. However, she kept it clean. It could have been ugly, you know, two players running in and not seeing each other. But two players running in, and she pulled out, you know, and allowed Lynch to come down with the disc, avoiding injury and avoiding contact. So well done there.
No, that's absolutely true. Like, there's always two halves to it when players are running opposite directions. And there's nothing worse than an injury. Conceding a point is very minor when it comes to someone getting injured. Well, now it's on Misfits. They have to claw it back. So we'll have to see what they come out with. I mean, you've said that you You wouldn't want to see the zone from them, so if they turn it, well, hopefully we'll just see match fighting. So far we haven't had too many single possession points though. It's been a battle.
Yeah, there have been turnovers. Both teams fighting. Few transition zones. So players coming out on offense and then transitioning to a defensive zone. It would be great to see, you know, the offensive line coming out doing what they do best, and that's scoring the point. Nexus running person defense, match defense right away. And Misfits showing us their classic, what a catch, once again from Swinson.
Yeah, seriously impressive receiving skills from Swinson.
Classically what we've seen from Misfits anyway, coming right out, Chili finding the open passes, you know, despite the pressure, calmly throwing it to who's open.
It's nice to just see so many passes as well coming out from Misfits. First of all, that they have the reliability to do so. Oh, here comes an overshot.
Ireland launching it deep. Pickering with the defensive play.
Just tipped away from the receiver's hands as well. Very close.
Oh, and there's that cheeky celebration. What a huck. Sawyer in that deep space. Lily Bell just wanted to catch that. Not against the formidable matchup of Rebecca Pickering.
Yeah, absolutely. The throw just didn't quite favor the receiver enough there.
O'Connor faking. She's looking for the round.
Nice marks.
Great mark preventing that from happening. Lynch with the disc. Throws like butter.
Yeah, there's a lot of room.
Good. Power position, she fakes the deep look. Throwing, I loved that throw, you know, I loved that inside. Unfortunately, Judd's momentum just pulling her too far away. We've got Ireland picking up and Lynch on the mark.
Yeah, we'll see if Ireland continues shooting or goes back to the small ball that we've been seeing so much of. It's really, it's such a nice way to just move the defenders, you know, constantly changing the angles that they have to cover. I'm liking this from Misfits. They just continually working. Pickering again. Recollected though.
But you know, in Ultimate Frisbee, we like to say, catch your Ds, especially with a player like Sawyer, to take it down. Oh, firing with the forehand! What?
Huge!
Swinson! Show us more, it's not enough.
Oh man.
What?
We need to see that again, don't
we?
we?
Need
That
to
was
see that
incredible.
Again. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little bit speechless. We're getting a show. So Ireland swinging up line for the pass again. I love that slicing cut. And she could have just caught it. She dives instead into the end zone. A slicing forehand to the open side, and then slicing deep. Swinson not taking it where it is. She launches herself in the air.
Slightly wrong footed, but had to make the catch, and so sideways it is. Excellent effort by Misfits.
Well done to Misfits. What a treat of a game to watch. We've got Fulton with the disc, and as we've seen so commonly, cleaning it off just to provide herself with a better grip there before launching it deep. Players discussing what they're going to do on defense. I hope they'll go match. We'll see if they'll be throwing out a new zone, a spicy zone, to try to switch things up. Match defense, though, I think from the Misfits, they've been doing a really good job, the best job, at containing and challenging pressure from Nexus.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see them really working and pressuring those resets as well. You know, make it not a freebie.
We've got the same experienced handler line. The Neal sisters with Crosby. Such a calm upfield.
Yeah. Very active mark from Murgatroyd as well. Parsons has to find something. Nice release there from
Fourth side.
Neal.
Dropping back into the handler space to provide some support. And she throws an inside misfire. Misses.
Yeah, it's a tough shot, that one. The
is.
forehand sneaking through, like intercepting your receiver.
It's tough because it has a lot of speed and power behind it. It works really well when it comes off, but again, it's hard to, you have to hit the receiver right where they're at. There's not a lot of margin for error.
No, very little margin for error. Rawman putting on a good mark. Keeping Island, keeping it safe.
Soper finding that around. Big fake from Lewis.
We might see something here from Soper. Sometimes she finds magic out of nowhere. Just resetting to Murgatroyd in the middle.
Oh, and Rollman contesting that.
Seriously pressuring Zaria Island.
Fulton with the disc.
Oh, nice
Finding
find.
Ireland. Ireland's looking for it and finds Clark in the end zone.
That's a beautiful point from Misfits.
Another point for Misfits. We can't speak too soon here as commentators. So the game now tied at 10-all.
That's a really nice point as well. Just taking their time to find the opportunities and open spaces. Rollman doing such a good job covering Island, and then just eventually Island got a disc.
Coach Panu talking to the team. We've got the fans there in the crowd. Looks like fellow players from across Auckland playing with Zodiac, as well as a few others up in the stands, no doubt supporting their fellow club team Misfits. And potentially Nexus as well, just supporting some strong Wahine Toa, strong women out here playing Ultimate Frisbee and showing us how it's done.
Yeah, absolutely. Receiving here, it's going to be between Neil and Botes.
Oh, Neil streaking deep. Such a dynamic player, Mara Neal. We've seen her throws, we've seen her commanding calm presence around the disc, but also we've seen her take to the skies, we've seen her on defense, and they're looking for that deep option. I do hope we see it before the end. Here she is taking the shot, looking for May there, who lays it out, but can't reel it in.
Can't quite get there. It's unfortunate. I think it's an exciting matchup we're seeing between Island and Neil, though.
Soper launching the inside out. I do love that throw.
Back to Soper. We're seeing what Soper can find with that magic.
And interestingly, we're seeing some different marks here. Judd switching it. She's forcing middle. And we've seen the away mark as well. The mark switching, and I think Toby, that's intentional. We're hearing it on the sideline too. You might hear it.
There is a lot of sideline reinforcements happening.
Volume on the sideline here, which you guys might hear. And that's reinforcing where they should be marking. I think the force is middle. Now, you might force middle for a variety. Taking a moment to respect that catch, even if it was out of bounds. What a catch.
Very, very cool grab.
Murgatroyd launching it.
Just on the line, unfortunately out.
Anyway, forcing middle has a few benefits. It's really preventing long looks which usually happen from the side of the field.
Oh, it's just going to be seen out.
Bogatsky, despite her fast closing speed, despite her athleticism, can't reel it in. Swinson wants a deep look right there.
Absolutely. She's setting herself up for a huge streak under. Unfortunately, the throw didn't find the gap, but now she's free for Island's follow-up.
So it can be difficult playing defense downfield on this, but the defensive marks and switching the forces.
Oh my gosh, that's a bird by Swinson. That is incredible.
Misfits, such a deep team, giving us such a great game of Ultimate here.
Absolutely. We see Murgatroyd on the mark. And they're looking for options now, Nexus. Like it's kind of trying to find gaps through the middle. It's a little bit kind of messy out there. Things are kind of not stacked up nicely in instructions, so it's all about finding the opportunity, that kind of little snake something through kind of chance.
I do like Nexus really matching that energy, though. They're out here with their clean passes. They're running to make those open options. Pickering takes to the skies to reel in that catch. Looking for the break. She's spinning around back to Botus.
Big pivots.
Inside out to Neil, looking break immediately, and in the safe hands of Ollie Judd in the end zone. She's showing everyone she scored that point, and that's safe. One more to Nexus Affinity.
Yeah. Absolutely. Kudos to Mara Neal there for tipping it and being able to bring it down, and then also being able to play it so quickly. I think it might have caught the defender out there a little bit, because often when you see someone tip it like that, you think there's going to be a little bit of a fumble and a delay, but instead she quickly collects it and just fires it straight into the end zone for a point. Here we see.
we'll see if there's more of this force middle. So again, one thing that they're trying to stop, that Nexus has been trying to stop with that force middle, they're switching it up, and as I mentioned, it can be difficult to play defense downfield when the mark is switching. However, it's really preventing a lot of the deep looks. No doubt they've seen the throws, not just that Ireland and Soper are putting up, but really, again, we're commenting on the depth of the team. Murgatroyd launching a few of those deep, and when you have receivers like Swinson,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like she's been showing us. Yeah, Claridge as well. And that depth downfield when you know you have strong throwers, strong receivers. They're really trying to cut that down, and they're trying to force the small ball. Those passes that Misfits have shown us they have, but potentially more room for error. The more you're throwing and catching the disc, the more options there are for potentially dropping it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, forcing more passes is a good thing, you know. It's just how it works out. The more passes, the more opportunity for mistakes. Parsons with a big pull now.
And it's not a zone, but it's something just slightly different.
Yeah, it's definitely anything that can create that pressure, even if it's a match or junk or switching, it's all worth it.
And it can make it more difficult to cut downfield as well when you don't know where the open space is. Roll, tearing it down from the skies. O'Connor looking for the D there.
Ground with the disc, really nice option to just reset back across, using space, the full width of the field here to use. And nicely indicated by Fulton there to get across and use it. Swinson just looking for a reset so she can go back to what she does best.
To Fulton. Fulton crossfield to Ireland. Ireland there, and wow, Misfits again showing us how they can use the length of the field, the ability of all of these handlers. A cheeky strike cut to Soper, back to Ireland, back to Soper. They're just waiting for options to open up here, and they're showing they're comfortable just resetting the disc if that's what they need to do.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder what they're looking for exactly. Are they trying to punch through the center, or are they trying to look for over-the-top shots? It really could be anything with those two throwers as well.
I think, oh, what an inside out from Fulton.
I mean, to see throws like that from him is just spectacular. Isn't that an awesome indication of the future?
Oh, what?
Oh, Fulton.
I love this. What? I mean, we've seen great displays of athleticism. How good is that? And here, just an entirely different way of scoring a point.
Wow. Just so cool to see. Like, the shots, like, the use of that angle, like, that is such an uncommon throw. This forehand, oh my goodness, that's awesome.
Yeah, just right there. And it's difficult to play defense when, you know, even match defense when the disc is moving so fast.
Yeah.
It's difficult to keep your head on a swivel, know where the disc is at the same time, know where your player is.
For sure.
And Misfits, you know, we saw before they were waiting for the options to open up. I think a lot of the force middle was making that difficult. They were giving them the swing, which they were taking, but they weren't really gaining yards out of that. Misfits weren't really, they were waiting for options to open up that were also kind of stagnant with force middle. It's tough to know where the open side is and where to make that cut for your handler. But once they found that, just kept it going.
Yeah. No, it is very cool to see. I mean, the sheer number of passes that Misfits are doing, as you say, it leaves the defender really like having to spin their head constantly to check, and then it's even harder to keep track of a player. And I mean, on that last point as well, it was a fantastic demonstration of momentum from Beck Soper as well, where she received it and then just pivoted nicely around the defender to pop that into Fulton.
Now, one thing here, it's exciting to see Misfits doing so well, but the experience, the diamond facade of Nexus is tough to crack, and I don't think we've seen any. They're still out here, you know, pushing and playing really well. I'm excited to see the offensive point they're going to show us right now. We've got Lynch to Neal, passing to Bodis.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is when a couple of points can make or break the game when you're this close to the end score, and so this is one that both going to desperately want.
Oh, Rollman, do you see that separation on the deep look? Pickering holstering it, looking instead for the safe swing, and there are pressure. Oh, she launches it downfield for a turnover. Judd was chasing it down. Rollman was there, but
nice coverage
in their hands.
Oh, good hands there. That could have that could have gone wide, but Crosby safe as houses. Soper with a few little hand signals, just directing traffic.
What an inside to
Oh
Murgatroyd.
my God, what a pickup as the backup from Claridge.
Claridge has it. Pops it back to Soper. Here's some give and goes.
Oh, Murgatroyd in the middle as well. This is such nice Frisbee, just using the angles, popping their way through. Just want to reset, clear it back up now. Start from the top.
And I love to see this defensive pressure. Nexus, you know, Neil on the mark there. They want to generate that defensive play. They want to generate the turnover. Rollman active on the mark, looking for the hand block, and Ireland having none of it.
Such a nice gaining throw downfield.
Definitely with that inside look.
Cheeky little left hand there.
Misfits playing chilly. Waiting for the options to open up. Huge swing! And that's Pickering. We've seen her on defense all day.
Yeah,
Tamara Neal.
A little unfortunate for McNamara there, not quite reeling that one in.
And it looks like players may be tired downfield. Definitely not Rollman, but Neal had it there, and there weren't many options for her. What an inside-out pass to Judd. Looks off Young.
Definitely in a long point at this stage of the game. It does become a question of grit. They're still working out there, though. They just want to punch this one in. We might see a little pop. Very sensible from Rollman, though, taking the safe options.
And finding Mara Neal in the end zone. Clean point. Nexus showing us once again how it's done as well. No cracks in that diamond facade.
Yeah, no, they're not giving away a lead. They're going to hold this one. There's going to have to be some strong break efforts from Misfits to get this back in time. But for now, they have to get their offense in safe.
Wow. Play after play from Misfits, where they're showing us, you know, they have such poise, such confidence around the disc, and when there might be a little slip, when there's just slightly not, you know, it's still going to be cleaned up by the receivers. It's not an issue.
We've seen multiple backup catches. It truly is like everyone's there.
And you know, that's something that you're working on in training as well. Oftentimes in drills, as you're throwing and catching, you've got the drill set up, you're running to catch the disc. If you're waiting in line, that awareness is really key, it's really critical. And the team will no doubt be supporting each other. If someone misses it, if they don't make a catch, that someone else sneaks in and scoops it up. Because when you're in the game, taking that mindset and applying it to the field, it's really important to have those backup options as well, which is something that Misfits are showing us.
Definitely. That fire to get there is absolutely an asset. And like games like this that are so close, so tight, can be decided by that one turnover.
Nick Panu providing defensive guidance. He's feeling a little flustered. It looks like shaking it off. Blowing off the steam. It's a tight game. Both teams have energy high. Lynch pulls it downfield. Look at that disc soar. And Soper to start it off.
Calmly collected by the veteran throwers here for Misfits. Got Fulton there handling as well.
Oh!
High pressure there.
There's high pressure. Zuda congested space. O'Connor with the disc. Swinging to Neal. Back to O'Connor. Tears it out of the sky. Beautiful give and go. And what separation with Forsyth. Can she bring it down?
Oh.
She does.
Hotly contested the whole way. Nexus manages to sneak out an extra point in a critical moment. It is worth pointing out that we are approaching time, so it's possible. It does sound like time cabin just went, so it's possible. Well, in fact, we definitely won't be seeing a game to 15. Oh, sorry, we might be seeing a game to 15, but we might also be seeing a game to 14, depending on who scores next. Oh, man, such a good catch and such a contested group.
Yeah, a lot of pressure there. Forsyth unflustered. Bringing it down. What a catch.
So, Misfits, hearing some words from the coach. This is one of those moments where you really do get to show how strong you are as a team, how well you fight in these difficult late stages. And of course, Instrument, a lot of experience to lend.
And as we've gotten to know these players better over the course of this tournament, over the course of this game, what formidable lines we're looking at.
Absolutely.
What formidable sideline we're looking at. We've got Fulton and Forsyth, who just came down with the disc on the sideline, both supporting their teams, no doubt getting loud with their teams on the field over the course of the game. Mara Neal with disc in hand, describing what she's looking for out of this defensive line. Rollman says, okay, 2 strong defensive players on this line. Rollman and Neal, both no doubt looking to generate a turnover. Disc flies down, and Zaria Ireland cleans up.
Soper and Ireland. Again, here we are.
Massive forehand.
Oh,
Fake.
that's unfortunate.
One of those moments where it looks like she may not have thought entirely about that throw. We've got Becca Neal picking up. What a moment for Nexus right now.
Parsons on the line, taking her time. She's been safe all game.
And Judd with the disc. That's a moment where Nexus they're unflustered. You know, they have the opportunity to close it out, but you know, to close out the point, but you know, especially under pressure, they won't be letting that get to their heads. That's something that we see time and time again. They don't make those unforced mistakes. They're drilled and they're practiced and can keep their heads in that cool head space regardless of the pressure that they're feeling.
Yeah, just a small mistake there. It might have just been an overflick of the backhand, and Becca Neal just slicing through an awesome forehand to find the goal there. And that's going to mean that it is a game to 15, as Nexus are only 1 point away. And so Misfits have a lot of work to do now. Have to score 4 in a row to come back and win this one.
You know, we have seen wilder things happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we'll see what Misfits have to show. They're starting off on offense. Ideally, of course, with an offensive line, you put out the line that's not going to make those mistakes. They're going to conserve the disc, maybe play a bit more conservatively. Yeah. We have a lot of athleticism here on this line. We're seeing some of the top receivers who've made some insanely athletic plays over the course of the day. And
the top defenders. I mean, we've got Rollman, Pickering. Like we've got a lot of the strong players on both sides. Absolutely.
Young, who's generated a few defensive points. She says, yeah, she's clapping her hands, and she's hungry for a defensive play as well. The disc comes up, and we've got the classic Ireland Soper to Fulton.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. A little bit spicy into the hands there. And now it's on Nexus again, who have shown no chinks in the armor. We just have to see if they'll put this one.
Lynch with the disc in hand and pressure. I mean, you know, this is what we've been seeing kind of over the course of the game, though. This is that classic, you know, a lot of turnovers, which is not generally what you see at the high level. Handler initiated throw. Soper puts it into space for Ireland.
Yeah, that's a beautiful example of experience as well, as I'm just going to put it into space and I trust you to get it. Swinson again, who's been an absolute standout this game, just centering to Soper.
And we're seeing some cuts a bit difficult to develop downfield. Misfits are slightly struggling to get open, and I think, honestly, that's the mark they're throwing. Fulton making strong cuts here to the side of the field. She's doing what would normally be a really solid strike cut, but because it's to the break side, it's just that much more difficult for the handlers to get it off.
Beautiful
They've got
movement.
Good movement, good flow happening right now. They've broken out of a little bit. Swinson with the disc. Faking to the open side, finds Soper.
Nice by Soper.
Launches it to Ireland. Misfits with the point. Ireland running, and she's showing off her football skills. Soper, I love the little dance that she did there as well. Oh, we see that once again.
Yeah, I mean, that's beautiful by Soper, like just providing the really safe, reliable reset there, and then also finding this just awesome angle to fire into the end zone from.
Misfits keep it alive for one more day, showing they're a force to be reckoned with. Soper looking for that receiver. Ireland, what a receiver she is. Catching it there.
Celebration.
And Stinson, what a receiver. Even showing that chilliness with the disc, faking, moving the mark where she wants the mark just to open up that swing option, make it a little bit easier for herself.
And Soper didn't need much space there to see that that was on. She trusted that that was going to be a point as long as it was on the right side. Very cool to see.
We're seeing Ireland with the disc. Misfits now with their defensive line. Few players down on Nexus line with hands up, ready for an offensive point.
Slightly lower pull this one. It'll be landing short for Nexus to play. We'll have to see if they maintain their, so far, very reliable offense through these very experienced throwers.
Parsons to Neal, back to Parsons. Back to Neal. Classic signature Nexus chilly handler movement, finding that option. Great pressure from Claridge, can't convert.
Yeah, and well done avoiding collision there. They both kind of sidestep each other in a nicely safe way.
Ooh, nice mark from Swinson on Neal. Usually gets that upline that she's looking for. We've got Forsyth with the disc.
Misfits really got to work now. This is crunch time. This is on the end zone, final point.
Great cover from Murgatroyd, shutting down that swing. Parsons with the disc, swinging to Neal. Again, they're just finding the open options. They're staying chilly.
Oh,
Parsons
such a nice
looking
find.
break. And Nexus catches it in the end zone. That's Mather. She's been such a great receiver all day. Finishing it out with that great catch. And what vision from Parsons to look to that break side. She's putting, the nose up into the slight winds that we have.
Yeah, such a nice find as well. Just noticing that the defender was slacking just a little bit on that break side, trusting the mark to prevent it, and it just sails around. Yeah, beautifully done.
And great positioning. I mean, there was a bit of a bump there, but Mather just got her body behind the disc. She cut off the defender.
Yeah, I always love a good throw that finds space like this, really taking advantage of that separation. Well,
That concludes this game with the score 15-12 to Nexus Affinity.
you asked me at the start of the game, what I was looking for out of this, and we absolutely found it. It's like an exciting show out from the Misfits for sure.
I was excited to see a range of options coming out from both sides. Unfortunately, not the hand block that I expected from Ollie Judd, but what a show. Thank you for joining us. We'll be online soon with the next game in the Opens division. Until then, my name is Kelsey Bielik,
And I'm Toby Sutherland.
and we'll see you soon.